What up, Patrick Torres, man? How you doing? Alright, so first things first. What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? Welcome in to the first ever, my first attempt at doing one of these, a live Q&A and also live call-in show. So I'm gonna wait for you guys to flow in, but for those of you that are already here, I'm gonna try and explain how I plan to do this. Like I said, it's my first attempt at it, so there's gonna be hiccups. I expect hiccups along the way, but what I plan to do generally is we're gonna try and do it through the Discord server that I made for the channel. Now, I made the Discord server for this like way back, like even before I had the channel. This server existed. I just never really used it. And I'll be honest with y'all, I'm not the best when it comes to using Discord. So hopefully everything works out okay. The plan is I created a voice channel on the server labeled call-in show so that it will be easy for you to find when you get it. Yeah, Patrick, I'm hoping that people don't do that, but I mean maybe some will. I'm just gonna try and just pray that like that doesn't happen. It's probably inevitable, but we'll see. We'll see who trolls, who doesn't troll. I mean, there was not really any other way I could figure out how to do this other than doing the Skype way that you guys are used to with Chris. But that way you have to like get a virtual number, and that costs money. So I wasn't really gonna roll that way right now. There's probably gonna be one or two. We shall see. Wait a little bit more for a couple people, a couple more of the viewers to come on in. Let me actually check right here. Well, nobody. I don't think anybody is in here yet so far. Oh yeah. By the way, you guys, you can turn on your video. That's why I have right here this kind of just big, just empty box next to my face. So if you guys are okay with it, you could turn on your video camera also, so that the rest of the stream can see how you get, just see you guys, see how you're doing. I'm good, Patrick. How are you, man? Football Talk, what's up, bro? If my laptop would load, I could pull up the stream itself on my computer, so I won't have to monitor it. Also on my my PC. But yeah, so if you're in here, the Discord link is right there. You could click on it. I mean, I'm assuming you guys have Discord. I know there's a good amount of the community that has Discord. Yeah, you could click on it. And we can hop right in and get to it if you're okay with that. We could just get straight to it. The instructions are in the Discord. The way I kind of hope that it goes. Patrick kind of alluded to the fact that it might not go as smoothly as I envisioned, which is true. But yeah. How do I feel about the DeAndre Baker situation? Well, Patrick, you want to tune in and be the first caller, man? Get into Discord right there and be the first caller, bro. Why not? You know what I mean? Why not? Let me get it back up. Now, on the DeAndre Baker situation, generally speaking, I always hoped that he was innocent from the beginning. I always thought that there's a good chance that he is innocent, simply because it kind of just seemed a little out of the blue, right? Like DeAndre Baker, for the most part. What's up, Dylan Renner? How you doing, my guy? Thank you. If you are doing that, Dylan Renner, of course, one of the mons of the channel here. So with DeAndre Baker, my feelings from the beginning, I always hoped that he was innocent. And I always thought that he would be, just because everything seemed a little fishy. Like, this was out of the blue. Baker, yes, he had his problems in the locker room. He had his problems with staying awake during meetings, and that's on him. I'm not putting that on anybody else but him. But that's just being unprofessional, right? That's a little bit of just still being irresponsible and being a college player, right? I think that's what that was. For people to then, accuse him of what he did, which was a felony, that's something completely different. And I think I just heard in my headset some people are at least joining the Discord. We got Nerding Out Sports in the chat. I think he might be our first caller. Nerding Out Sports, you there, bro? Is your mic on? Well, he's in the voice chat right now. I don't know if you guys could see that. But Nerding Out Sports, if you're there, I think you need to turn on your camera, man. Or your mic also. So, and while that's happening, let me actually adjust this crop that I have here so my face doesn't show twice. But we may have our first caller. I'm not sure. Let me adjust this real quick. So I mean, yeah. So if there's anybody that would be, whoa. All right. So who's gonna be the first caller? Who just tuned in? This is It's Sunrise. All right. So It's Sunrise. I think you're. Let me just fix up this right here. Like I said, there's gonna be some minor technical difficulties. It's completely fine if you don't want to show your face and whatnot. I'm not gonna force you guys to do that. Uh, but if you are the first person, the one thing I will request, because I don't think there's an actually a way to, like prevent more than one people from getting into the Discord call. I just hope that you guys can just allow people to take turns. That's the only thing I could ask. But if you guys can do that, I appreciate it. So It's Sunrise first and foremost, man. How you doing? Is your YouTube name different from the name you have on Discord? And what's up, man?
Hello?
What's up? I can hear you just fine. How you doing, bro?
Yo, this is Dylan Renner, man.
This is Dylan Renner himself, bro, the bodyguard, the man who paid me to eat some chicken nuggets in last night's stream. For those of you that don't know, what's up, Dylan? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, man? I'm doing all right.
I'm good, man. Listen, first and foremost, bro, did you eat your chicken tenders afterwards?
I did. I did. They were pretty good. And I had them with honey mustard instead of ketchup.
Honey mustard? I gotta try that. I got ketchup only, but that's just how I go. So, all right, bro. First of all, thank you for being a great supporter of the channel. You always in the streams. You always being fun dude to talk to. I'm pretty sure I've talked to you on the Xbox message system before. Of course, you played me on Madden. What do you want to talk about, bro? What's the first thing you want to talk about in this calling show?
Well, I want to talk about a lot of Giants fans are predicting us to not do well next season. Maybe like 5, maybe 6 wins, right? So, I guess next year's draft, we're looking to target the top 2. I'm guessing are Gregory Rousseau out of Penn State, right? And then Jamar Chase out of LSU. Which one would you prefer?
So I know Jamar Chase is a wide receiver. Greg Russo, what position is he?
He's a defensive end.
All right, so
Out of
I would go defensive end. I think we need to fix unless we're gonna sign somebody next year. And I'm not usually when I get into college football and college scouting. I mean, I don't like to consider myself an expert because I don't get into it until like after the season ends. I get into it around January. That's when I start making my first mock drafts. That's when I start looking at all these prospects. Doing the heavy research. But I have heard these names before, and I would go defensive end because we need a pass rusher on the team. I know I've even said it before. The Giants may be out here trying to scheme a pass rush. They may be out here trying to get sacks and pressures from the secondary. I would still be a lot more comfortable if that defense had a legit number one guy. And unless we're gonna sign somebody in free agency, which I don't know if that's gonna happen, in the next year's free agency, I would love to get somebody from the draft and somebody in the first round. I think me and Kid Blue talked about this on the podcast several times. As I just realized, it still says the Young Guns up there. I'm gonna have to change that. But like I don't want another third round pick guy. I don't want another second round pick guy. I don't want another fourth round pick guy that's gonna come in. We're gonna try to develop him into a number one pass rusher. The pass rushing position, whether it's defensive end or outside linebacker, whatever the case is, you're getting to the quarterback. It's one of the easiest, if not the easiest position that translates to the NFL. Other than running back, I think those two right there are the easiest positions that translate. So if you're gonna be good and dominant at the college level, you're probably gonna be good and dominant. Not always, obviously, but most of the time you're gonna be good and dominant at the NFL level. And we need pass rush so much. Jamar Chase, like I said, I've heard about him. I won't go about pretend like I watched his film or anything. I'm gonna assume he's the number one wide receiver coming out in next year's wide receiver class. With the wide receiver position, I think it's a bit easier to find guys later, just like how we did in 2019 with Darius Slay, and it doesn't even have to be that late. We could just go in the second round and maybe take a wide receiver. But where would you go? Since
Yeah,
you
I
brought these
agree.
guys up, I think you would probably know a little bit more about them.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the 2019 draft, Daniel Jones, I was a big fan of Josh Allen
Hmm.
because he fit our scheme. He was a defensive end, and I liked defensive ends because, back to the olden days with Justin. It's not even old. It's Jason Pierre-Paul and Justin Tuck and all them. They always got to the quarterback, so it was always my favorite position to watch as a Giants fan.
Oh, bro, it's my favorite position. That's actually I'm gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. My favorite position to watch is running back, which partly plays into why Saquon is my favorite player now. But my second favorite position is definitely the edge rusher, and even in Madden, bro. even though I suck at it. I love playing with the defensive ends or the outside linebackers. I just love getting to the quarterback.
Yeah, it's funny because they're like faster than like the offensive tackles, so it's just like more fun to use them.
Exactly. And bro, if you could get a good bull rush on them, which the Giants haven't had in a while, Jesus Christ. Did you
Yeah, that's
see
right.
did you get a chance to peep today's video on top or like my 5 defensive players that could break out?
Yes.
So, what did you think about O'Shane Zimenez since we're kind of on the topic of pass rush and how I said he has a very similar story to Lorenzo Carter, or are you in you disagree with it? You're like, nah, O'Shane is different. Maybe because he's a power rusher. Carter was a dude that relied on agility and speed. What did you think about that?
So again, O'Shane Zimenez, you put at number 4 on your
Yeah,
top 5 list. He could debatably be a little higher, in my opinion. I mean, the guy, we just saw him have a pretty good rookie season with not a lot of snaps as he should have had in a bad losing season, in my opinion. But I really like O'Shane Zimenez. I had high hopes from him out of Old Dominion. Good. It wasn't a very good school, but D2 school has some. Or wait, he D2 school, right?
yeah. I
I
think
think
Old
Old.
Dominion is like either D2 or D3. It was a very small school.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I saw him dominate then. On like I think Bengal was talking about him. I watched a couple Giants guys, but
And I think Mike Too Nice. Mike Too Nice was actually one of the dudes that talked about him a lot also, as I think somebody else just don't joined the call. So guys, real quick, as you just disappeared, your icon. Let me get that back up. Guys, real quick, since there's literally no way for me to actually like be like, all right, I only one person at a time can talk. I'm just gonna ask y'all to just try and roll with it if that's possible. Just want to get that out there again. But yeah, continue, my guy.
all right. So kind of forgot what I was saying. What was I saying? Old Dominion and O'Shane Zimenez or something.
Yeah,
I forgot
you
what
were
I was
saying
saying.
like he dominated at D2.
Yeah, he dominated D2. I wanted to see what he could do at like the next level. So, I mean, we got a little bit of that last year, but I believe we could see a little bit more from him in the second season
All right,
with this new scheme as well.
I can hear that. So in terms of, by the way, Jabartha era, the link to the Discord is in the chat, and right now I'm actually trying to bring back up Dylan's what you call it, Dylan's icon here. I'm gonna work on that as I talk. But as long as you guys can hear him, that's what's important. What's up, Nikki? So, other than, but why is it that you think O'Shane? Is it purely because the dude played 45% of the snaps and he got 4.5 sacks? He got good numbers, right? He played a lot less than Carter did. Even though Carter played around the same amount of defensive snaps, Carter was in there a lot with special teams. Zimenez was not. Is that why you would say you'd put him a little bit higher on the list?
Well, here's the thing. I'm not a big fan of Lorenzo Carter. I don't think I think he had a very disappointing season last year to what we all expected as Giants fans. Um, I, I don't know. I'm just giving up on him. I want to move on and try and get that, because nobody has ever had more chances than Lorenzo Carter has had in what 3 seasons or something.
Bro, it's only been 2 though.
Oh shoot, it's been 2. Wow.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, listen, part of me believes that maybe Giants fans are giving up a little too soon on him. It's only been 2 seasons. If it was three,
Yeah,
I'd be
I guess
completely
so.
on board on you, right? I'd be completely on board with you if it was three. Because I'm like, all right, by the third year, in my opinion, you know what this player is, right? Like, you already know what's up with this player.
Okay, so he was drafted in the Saquon Barkley
Yeah, he
draft
was
class, right?
third round, yep.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe I am giving up on him a little bit, but I think that's just because I love O'Shane Zimenez. I don't know. I feel
So,
like he could be our next like big guy for
well, a
our
lot of people
defense.
said because of the small school comparison, a lot of people were like, hey, maybe he could be the next. I think it was Justin Tuck. Was it Justin Tuck that came out of a small school also, and then, like in the second, third round? A lot of people were
I'm
comparing him
actually
to
not
that.
sure. He might have.
You there,
Yeah,
bro?
he might have been. I'm not.
Okay, I was like,
Yeah.
it kind of went out for a second.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I think I'm just gonna do this where it kind of just shows everybody that's in the call right now. Why not? All right. So then, who would you put him above then? Because the list that I had, I think in order from 5 to 1, the list was Ryan Connolly, then O'Shea and Zimenez. No, actually, it was Ryan Connolly, then Zimenez was third. It was Ryan Connolly, then Leonard Williams, then O'Shea and Zimenez, then Dexter Lawrence and DeAndre Baker at my number one player to break out. Who would you put O'Shea Zimenez above? Would you put him above Dexter Lawrence, or would you put him all the way at the top above DeAndre Baker?
Oh, I'm not really sure. I mean, oh, um, to break out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dexter Lawrence really had a great season last year. Let's see. I don't really know about too much about how much more of an impact he's gonna have. I mean, from a D tackle standpoint, he had a good first season. But
Mm-hmm.
could he be a breakout over O'Shane? Maybe he could. I'd probably put him right after or right before what's shit what's his name?
Right before who?
Right before Dexter, or right after Dexter, like one up from Dexter.
So right before DeAndre Baker?
Yeah.
And I have no idea why this thing keeps disappearing, guys. My bad. Like, it just keeps disappearing. I don't know why. Ah,
Yeah,
let's see.
you cut out too sometimes. It's like hard for me to hear you.
Really? All right, let me try and
But it's
adjust the
good.
mic then. All problems that I'm trying to figure out. Worst comes to worst, for the next call-in show, I will have to get the virtual Skype number. I was just trying to see if I could work my way around it. And by the way, I do have Discord pulled up on my computer, my other computer here. So if any of you want to be the next one to call in after Dylan is finished up here, let me know. And then, I'll just let Dylan know, all right, bro, the time is now. And the next person will come on in. Just let me know, because I'm in the general chat of the Discord, or let me know through the YouTube chat right here, and just tune into the call. But yeah, so if you put him right below Baker, all right, you have him right there at number 2. So do you think Zimenez is this guy that is going to be possibly the number 1 or maybe the number 2 pass rusher? Where are you going to see him next year if he does break out?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not really sure. This is all just, I mean, a guess for me because I
Of
just
course,
had
yeah.
high hopes for it. But I'm not really sure. It's a good question. I'm a little
You're a
little excited.
little just not too sure on that. So who else just tuned in here? Nerding Out Sports has been in the call for a while. I'm not sure if your mic is not on or something, bro. What's up with that? And who just tuned in? Also, that you have your mic muted. Whoever that is, I'm not sure. Speak if you wish. John Doe brings up a good point. He says Dexter Lawrence was doubled a lot last year. So was Leonard Williams, which is part of the reason I put him on the list. Leonard Williams was doubled on 64% of the defensive snaps that he played, which obviously helped out the guys he played next to in Dexter Lawrence and Dalvin Tomlinson. You were saying you're not sure how much more of a step that Dexter could take. So do you think he just kind of has like a little bit of a repeat of his rookie year? Because he didn't actually play that many snaps either. Dexter Lawrence played around the 60s in terms of percentage of defensive snaps. I think he's going to play a lot more because they've seen what he can do. Maybe he gets up in the 80s. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why we didn't play these guys as much as we should have. Like O'Shane and Dexter, like we should have played these guys a lot more, in my opinion. Because I mean, it was a losing season. We have to see what kind of talent we have with our young guys. But I think that just revolves around the coaching that was last year. But I would really love to see the new, like the full time, like starting role that these guys will have.
For
But
sure. I agree. I agree with you. Same thing kind of goes for BJ Hill, but then we got Williams. So and PJ, I just saw that you joined the call, man. You can unmute if you wish. I'm beginning to think might as well just have a multiple type of call-in show. We'll go with however many people tune in. So PJ, if you do hear me, you could unmute your mic and start talking, bro. Join the chat. And anybody else for that matter. John Doe says, well, the only thing Pat can develop is a QB. And Nerding Out Sports is laughing in the chat saying he's been struggling trying to get his mic connected. Whenever you figure that out, bro, let us know. So anything else in terms of the defense you're looking forward to out here, my guy? We talked about pass rush. What do you think about Kyler Fackrell? Anybody else on the defense that I didn't list that you would say would be on that list of breakout players or maybe just have a good season?
No, I think you hit it off the ballpark in that video. I think that's uh the right the right people they had in the chat.
Thank
I
you
think.
so much, Nikki, for the love. I'm not sure what emojis those are, but I do see the love your work. Thank you so much, all you guys, by the way, everybody in here right now. Dylan, both PJ and Nerding Out Sports who are struggling to figure out their mics. All y'all, thank you so much. The channel would not be here without you guys. You know what I mean? So, and I'm thankful right now that we don't have a troll on the call-in show, which I was low-key kind of expecting because that's how the first call-in shows usually end up going.
Yeah, what's up, Hub?
Who is out here? Who is this? What's your name, bro? Welcome in. You're live.
My name's PJ.
PJ, bro, how you doing, my guy? What is it you want to chop it up between myself and Dylan here, man?
Oh, what do you guys think will happen, like, if Daniel Jones has a sophomore slump?
If he has a sophomore slump, well, first of
Yeah.
all, I'll be honest with you. I kind of find it hard to see if he'll have a sophomore slump, but it's something to consider for sure. If he has one, then the team is not going 6-10 or 7-9, which is what I predicted they'd go. I think realistically speaking, that's probably the best the Giants can go. If Daniel Jones has a sophomore slump, that affects the way Saquon performs. That would affect the way the offensive line performed. Because part of the reason he fumbled and got sacked a lot last year was because his pocket awareness and his pocket presence was really bad. So if he has a slump, that means it's either staying the same or it got even worse. So he's probably going to get sacked a lot more. The team in general is not going to win as much games as I would expect them to. And one thing that I hope doesn't happen is that, the coaching staff and the front office lose faith in him because sophomore slumps happen. We see it happen with a lot of players. I hope they just be like, all right, this is one of those type of things on the growth curve and he's going to bounce back next year. But I think the worst case scenario would be, we probably end up with another top 5 pick, which I don't want to happen. What about you, Dylan?
Yeah, I don't want a top 10 pick either.
Facts, bro.
Yeah, it's been too much years of it.
Dylan, you still in here?
Yeah, I'm in here.
So, yeah, what do you think about PJ's question?
I'm not gonna lie, I zoned out a little bit. What did he say?
He was like,
John's
sophomore slump. What do you think is going to happen, with the team, with the front office? What's happening?
I really hope if we have a bad season this year that Gettleman does not get fired. Like that's the last thing I want. I mean, he's proven he could be a great drafter,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like I don't know. I really just want to see how Gettleman's plan works out. I mean, I was always a big. I had not like when Gettleman did all of his big ballsy moves with trading Odell and doing all the like the big moves that like could eventually end your job.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, dude had to
that-
literally go and convince the owners to bring him back for this year.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's a problem with the ownership. Ownership just can't like give up on a general manager who's in the middle of a rebuild. Because if you bring in another guy, it's the same thing all over again. And then it's years of, bad luck. And
Is
apparently
the
Knicks
Brown cycle that we don't want to get into?
exactly. Or the Knicks. The Knicks do the same thing in basketball.
Bro, don't even bring up the Knicks right now. I'm actually a Knicks fan. I'm just like New York fan through and through. Jesus Christ, man. The Knicks, they're even worse than the Browns when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not even a Knicks fan. I'm a Thunder fan. Like, I love OKC Thunder, but yeah, I luckily I did not become a Knicks fan because they're just not the New York team.
Just not your flavor. Nikki has a pretty good
No.
question since we were talking about Gettleman. She said, what grade would you give him so far as the Giants GM? So I'm going to let you guys go first, then I'm going to say what I would give him.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead, you can go
Yeah, you
first.
could go
Oh,
ahead, guys.
all right, I'll go.
You can go first.
I'll give him a grade.
You could break it
I
down,
think
be
a
like
B
for a
minus,
draft
'cause-
and then for free agency if you want to also.
All right. Yeah, I think Gettleman, he's weaker in free agency. Like he's really good at drafting, and for drafting, I give him like a B minus.
All right, B
'Cause
minus.
He knows what he's doing, and yeah, with the but he does do controversial stuff that ends up paying off. Like all of us, when we saw Daniel Jones get picked, we like
Lost minds.
yeah. So I think he's a pretty good GM. He just has to get better in a free agency.
I definitely
Yeah, I
agree
would have
with
to agree
that.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for drafting, I would actually give him I would give him an A. I feel like he always finds good talent at the end of the drafts, like the day threes and stuff. They really start to like pan out, like guys like Ryan Conley, Slayton. Like it's really hard to find good talent at the end, you know? But
Hmm.
he's done a good job with that. I would say drafting, I'm gonna give him an A. Now, free agency, I'm not gonna be like too nice with it because he's signed like
Let's
I
be
still
honest.
regret the Golden Tate
He's had
signing.
terrible signings in free agency for the most part. Like let's be completely honest, right?
Yeah, I mean, Nate Solder. We did not expect that from Nate Solder. We didn't expect a very bad season as a left tackle, but I mean, you can't really blame him for it. But it's just a bad signing. You could say Golden Tate was a bad signing. I mean, we just traded Odell, and then we gave Golden Tate like what 13, 14 million or something.
It would the money that went to Odell was basically split in half between Shepard and Tate.
Exactly, and that's another controversial. You know, that's like controversial. You know, I'd rather have Odell than Shepard and Tate on my team. You know,
Hmm.
but
So what would your overall grade be for him?
I would say free agency. I would give him a C plus.
And then draft an A, so that if you were to average it out, basically a B as a GM.
Yep. Well, I would say B plus as um as his grade. Yes.
I bet. Real quick to John though, he says guys who have sophomore slumps are because they leave college real quick and get coddled the first year. Daniel was thrown into the fire, not always of course, but I do agree with that. The fact that Daniel Jones was thrown into the fire, at first I didn't like it because I still believe that quarterbacks coming out of college they should sit a little bit because that does a lot for you. But the more and more I look at it, I mean it's like you look at the way quarterbacks are built the past couple of years, and that feels weird to say because it sounds like I'm talking about a robot or something. But you look at the way quarterbacks have been built the past couple of years, and they don't need to necessarily sit. They're actually really prepared to come in and start immediately.
Right.
What's up, Patrick Torres, Big Blue Wrecking Crew? PJ, I'm not sure if it's your mic, bro, or somebody else's, but it is the background noise, my guy. Is there a way to mute him? Ah,
I
damn.
don't know.
This was part of the problem I was afraid of. Ah, damn.
Wait.
Ah, shit. All right. I do have my backup plan if it continues, which is I will just call you guys individually. But PJ, are you there, man?
Yeah.
Was that you with the background noise just now?
Yeah, I was just talking to my brother.
I bet. Just mute your mic if you're gonna talk elsewhere, bro. What's up, AV
All right.
Sports? Big Blue Wrecking Crew, you guys tuning in. What was I talking about before that, Dylan?
You were talking about Gettleman's grades.
Right.
With his,
So with Gelman, for me, I'm kind of on board with how you broke it down. I would give him like a C in free agency. When I really struggle to think about it, I can't judge this year's free agency because we haven't seen how it panned out yet. And then I think about
Yep.
everything else, and I'm like, there's not really a signing that stands out that was a good one. Maybe Golden Tate, you could argue. He was a safety blanket. He honestly was the most reliable receiver for Jones, not named Darius Slayton. But that was partly because Sterling Shepard was injured and Evan Ingram was injured. So it's like he was the only other target not named Darius Slayton, right? And then
Right.
when you think about all the other signings, you think about, and even the dude he released, I'm still to this day, I wish that Gabe Gellman kept from when he first came in, he released Romeo Okwara. I still wish we kept Romeo Okwara.
Yes.
I love what I saw from this dude in 2016 in his rookie season. For some reason, his 2017 season is kind of slipping my mind, but then again, he probably didn't see the field that much, and I thought he could be a great edge rusher for the Giants. Um, I wish he kept him, and then he brought on dudes like the running back from Carolina whose name is slipping my mind. That led Carolina, like has the record for most rushing yards in Carolina Panthers history, but he was washed up by the time he came here, and everybody knew he was washed up. Yeah, Jonathan Stewart. You think about signings like that, like Olsen Pierre, the signings from the Cardinals that didn't really work out. Of course, Antoine Buffet. Like, come on, man. It's like nothing stands out. And then, but then you go up to the draft, and I gotta give the guy an A for the draft. In the 2018 and the 2019 drafts, he's had, I think, home run hitters like Saquon. Not a lot of people agree with the pick, and we could get into that if you guys want to, because that's recently become a popular topic. Was the Saquon Barkley pick the right pick to make at number 2 overall? But Saquon, by all intents and purposes, was a home run pick. You got a good guard who's he had a sophomore slump, but I fully expect Hernandez to bounce back. He's a great guard in the NFL. And then you got two guys that definitely showed out their rookie years and then kind of disappeared. But once again, maybe a sophomore slump in B.J. Hill and Lorenzo Carter. 2019, we all know the story. Basically, what looks like a franchise quarterback in Daniel Jones. Dexter Lawrence, who was the best defensive rookie last year. DeAndre Baker is where it gets iffy, but I think we all know DeAndre Baker was misused, and there was definitely issues there with the coaching staff. So there's that. O'Shane Zimenez, who a lot of people have faith in, and Ryan Connolly and Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton more so being the steal of the draft. I got to give the guy an A. So for me overall, that will kind of average out to a B.
Right.
So
I agree with you.
Exactly. Nikki's saying DJ's over under. I'm guessing we're doing predictions in terms of their stats now. 30 touchdowns, 4,000 passing yards, 7 fumbles, and she's asking it as a question mark. What was my over under for him? I think I had him above 30. Yeah, I think I had him above all of those, actually. I think I had him like at 32 or 31 touchdowns, like literally just a little above 4,000 passing yards, and I had him at like 11 fumbles, but the fumble projection was what I want. That's like the worst that I want from him. I don't want any more than 11 fumbles. He should have below 11 fumbles. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean that's the goal. I mean 11 fumbles, maybe under 11 fumbles would be nice, but in my opinion, I think he's gonna go over it. I mean,
You really?
his confidence. Yeah, I think he has great confidence in the pocket.
All right, so between
But-
11 and 18 though, right? Because 18 was the number last year.
Right. It's definitely gonna be under 18. I mean, again, he didn't even play a full season, so we're not really sure yet, right? So under 18, I would say under 18. I would say about 15, 16 fumbles. I'm hoping.
I don't know. Like, I mean, I hope it's not that, because that is still very bad for me. If he goes out there and has a season and he fumbles 15 times, that shows me that his pocket presence didn't improve a lot, or that the offensive line is bad. And I'm hoping that both of those improved.
Yeah, that's what I agree on that.
Yeah, right. But again, he did not play a full season. He missed 4 games in the beginning, and if he played those 4 games, if he started the whole season,
He probably
as a
has like
starter.
over 20 fumbles.
Exactly, and we have to just see a little improvement. I mean, it should be a big improvement, but I mean, his pocket, he has he's great like stance in the pocket. Like he could like look downfield and like evaluate and ignore completely what's going on around him, which is also there's good things about that, and there's also bad. The bad things is of course it leads to more fumbles, but the good thing is that he could really launch the ball down the field when he wants to, and he could really deliver the ball. And some of the stats actually show up in the Entertainer had this one video. He was talking about how Daniel Jones was like top like 10 in like balls that were forced in like in the small windows. He was like top 10 quarterbacks. So I mean, his talent is definitely to squeeze the ball in, and I mean that's what I see. So.
What about you, PJ? What are you thinking for over-unders on the fumbles?
I think he gets less than 12.
Less than 12?
Like this season. I think it depends on our tackle play. It depends on who's on our line. Cuz Nate Solder, a lot of Daniel Jones's fumble came off of Nate's shoulder. Like him not doing a good job blocking. So I think it depends on that
and Mike Remmers too.
Huh?
And Mike Remmers too. The Giants in terms of tackle play had the 2 worst tackles in the NFL. Combined they gave up the most pressures in the NFL and the most sacks.
Wow. Yeah, it definitely depends on that.
Yeah,
and,
I would have to agree with you there.
Okay. I think he also has to learn how to slide more, because I didn't see him slide a lot, and I don't
when
want
he's
him,
running?
like, becoming, and I don't want him becoming too much of a mobile quarterback either.
That
that's actually a great
That's a really good
it's a
point.
great point.
Yeah, because that's when you look
Yep.
at quarterbacks like Cam Newton, right? Newton, even though he had the size that to try and truck people, it still wears down your body, and that's basically what led to Cam being as injury prone as he was. That's a pretty good point. If
Yeah,
DJ's taking off, I don't want to see him trying to truck people, even though he threw on an extra 10 pounds of muscle, which Big Blue Wrecking Crew brought up. He says DJ put on 10 pounds this offseason. That will help his fumbling a little bit.
Yep.
I think that more than anything, it's for him to be less injury prone. I'm not sure, like, how do you put on 10 pounds of muscle specifically in your arms, right? I don't know how that is. I'm gonna assume they meant, generally all over his body, and that was just to protect his muscle and his bones more. That's what I think it was for. I think it was just so that he's stronger at the point of contact, so that he's not injured. But it's definitely
yeah,
would help out with him probably just cradling the ball a little bit more.
yeah, and it helps him take hits like more effectively. Like, yeah,
Yeah, you can withstand them. Yep.
yeah.
Exactly. John Doe is out here saying, and by the way, can somebody post the Discord link in the chat again? For anybody that wants to tune in, you could literally just click the link, get into the voice chat, and join the conversation. Nerding on sports, I have no idea what's happening with you, bro. The mic probably is still not connected. John Doe says, the Andrew Thomas pick made me jump for joy. I watched a video that said he was only one of 5 tackles to start his freshman year, not because of injury or transfer, since the 2015 draft. What was your reactions, both of y'all, to the Andrew Thomas pick?
Um, just like they said, I didn't had Jedrick. I had us drafting Jedrick Willis
Mm-hmm.
fourth. I didn't really have. I didn't really have Thomas, but then when I looked at his stats, um, he didn't I forgot what his stats were, but they were really crazy. But
He didn't give up a quarterback
yeah,
sack in a year or 2 years or something like that.
yeah.
I
That's
think
it.
it was 3.
3 years?
Wasn't it
Yeah,
3?
Jesus.
Yeah, I
And
think it
by
was
the
3.
way, welcome to the 2 new guys that tuned in. I think it was Nerding Out Sports came back in, and Patrick T. I'm assuming that's Patrick Torres. Welcome in, guys.
yeah, but yeah. It kind of shocked me that it was Andrew Thomas, but then when I researched him, I was happy with the pick. I knew we were going offensive lineman first, fourth.
Yeah, Andrew Thomas, I was surprised. I was definitely surprised. It wasn't a bad surprise. It wasn't like the Daniel Jones surprise. It was definitely like
It
definitely a
was just like
satisfying
you just didn't expect
surprise.
it.
Right, because I was expect we all were expecting Wills or I was also expecting Wirfs. I did not want Wirfs at all. I thought he was a little bit more developmental. Um,
I agree with you there, bro. Both on for Wirfs and Becton, especially Becton, I was like, I don't want him just because the risk is a little too much. The guys that I wanted, and of course I've said it a lot at this point. Andrew Thomas was my favorite, but I didn't think the Giants were gonna go him, so I wanted Jedrick Wills because I'm like, at least Wills is fundamentally sound. I think out of all the 4 guys, he was better than even Thomas in terms of being fundamentally sound. So I was caught off guard when the Thomas pick happened.
right, me too.
Yo,
I would
Hub.
actually disagree. I would say actually Wills is a little bit more fundamentally sound. I really love Wirfs's fundamentals and his like base when he on his pass blocking. Now I think Andrew Thomas, of course, is a little bit better of a run blocker, but
Mhm.
Wills is definitely a very good pass blocker, and I feel like we really need that for Daniel Jones. But that's why really liked Wills a lot. But I mean, Thomas wasn't a bad pick either. He was definitely my number 2, but you know, I like
And,
it.
and to Patrick Torres and Nerding on Sports, are any of your mics on? Any of you guys connected well? I
Can you
see.
hear me?
I can hear you. Which one is this? Which one are you?
Nerding out.
Nerding on Sports. Welcome in, bro. How you doing? Another great supporter of the channel. How you doing, bro?
Good, man. I'm good.
Um,
How you doing? I actually did not have Discord set up, so that's what the problem was, and I didn't have access to the voice, so I had to set all that up, and I realized I was in the call for so long, but I never gave them access to use the microphone or anything.
oh yeah, I think if you're using the like on Chrome, you have to click to give access to the microphone. I just use the
Yeah.
Discord app. But getting to the most recent question, man, what was your reaction to the Andrew Thomas pick and your general thoughts on it, and even the other tackles, as both me, PJ, and Dylan were talking about the other tackles as well.
I liked the pick a lot. I thought honestly, I really thought once they weren't trading down, they were going to go Simmons, but I'm fine with the Thomas pick. I think he was the overall best tackle. I would have been okay with Wills, but I agree. I think Wirfs and Becton were kind of like projects almost a little bit. They're great players, but in terms of helping out right now, protecting Jones, Thomas was probably the best pick.
Yeah. And John Doe out here saying Wills was a beast in pass protection, but he isn't the mauler in the run game. I'll tell you what, and this is how I know that Andrew Thomas was like just because I think we can all agree the fact that he dropped from being the number one tackle to being number four was kind of crazy. You can argue between him and Wills. You know, it's my personal opinion that it's Thomas. But the reason I know that Thomas is towards the top is because I think that he's a beast in the run game. I think the run game and his run blocking is his best attribute. But like almost every other expert out there says that his best thing is pass protection. So if you got people split between which one he's the best at, I know for a fact he has to be one. Oh, he has to be towards the top instead of that towards the bottom.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
But so this kind of popped into my mind. Why do you guys think that he kind of dropped in the draft, or at least on draft boards?
Easily the combine. Easily. I mean, Wirfs had an unreal combine. I mean, everyone except Thomas really had Thomas had an average combine, but every other offensive lineman had a great combine, like stand out amazing. And I feel like experts were really looking at that and saying, oh, well, this guy has the natural attributes to be a real star eventually. But I feel like it didn't, I don't know. That's probably my best guess, but.
Okay. What
yeah,
about
it was probably
you
the
guys?
Combine.
Yeah. Same here. Combine.
For me, it's
Same thing happened with McKinney too.
yeah.
He had like a bad combine and he dropped.
I think
But
this. I think safeties in general, and that's a really good point, PJ. But I don't know why safeties in general just dropped. McKinney was the first one to go off, and that was in the second round.
Yeah.
I actually expected Grant Delpit to drop, though. I mean, Grant Delpit has had some injury concerns, and his tackling could be a little more improved,
Mhm.
which is complete opposite of Xavier McKinney, which is why I think he was my number one. But
John Doe out here with a little bit of a conspiracy theory. He says 10,000% the media wanted him to block for Brady. I truly believe that is combine in the three cone was amazing. Now listen, he did have a pretty good three cone drill. Or how do you guys feel about kind of NFL conspiracy theories in general? Now that one, I'm not sure, but I can see it happening. I could 100% see it like, oh, they just want him to drop to the Bucks so that he goes to Brady. But then at the same time, I'm like, that's an elaborate scheme right there.
yeah,
For me, it's a little bit between the combine, like you guys pointed out, and also just I really do think that people got bored with everybody having the same mock draft. As we have another caller turning in, and it's Big Blue Wrecking Clue. Welcome into the call. Are you connected?
Yo, can you hear me?
I can hear you, man. How you doing?
What's up, boys? You good, man?
We're all good. We're all good.
What's up? What's up?
So
So-
since you're tuning in and we were just wrapping up this question, let's get your thoughts on it. Andrew Thomas pick. Why do you think he dropped all of that?
Andrew Thomas, yeah, I love the pick. I mean, yeah, I know we're probably all kind of thinking we go with Willis, but he's a big boy, dude. I think Thomas is going to do some good things, open up some big holes in the run game. I heard he's a great pass blocker. So, obviously that's going to be great for DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, it's a great pick. It was a much needed pick. So I'm happy that we got that position filled.
And I'm kind of going to go around now. I'm just going to go around and ask you guys this one question. Which player, whether it's a rookie or somebody, a free agent that we brought on, but an addition that was made to the team this year, which player are you guys most excited for and why? So let's start off with Big Blue Wrecking Crew, then we'll go to Dylan, then we'll go to Nerding Out Sports, and then to PJ.
Dude, it's got to be my boy Xavier McKinney, dude. I think he's going to be a stud. He's going to be making plays on the defense for us. Dynamic duel over there with Peppers. I think he's going to be making some big plays, dude. I'm so excited for McKinney to play.
I agree with that, man.
Yeah.
McKinney was definitely a steal for sure.
yeah, I'll go with. I'm gonna go with a little different approach here. I'm gonna go Bradbury. I really want to see how he's gonna take this next step with younger corners. I mean, we have really young corners in Darnay Holmes and other guys like Baker. So I really want to see his leadership role this year on the Giants this year.
For sure. Nerding on Sports, you there?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Darnay Holmes. I really like that pick. I can't wait to see if he's starting at slot corner. I think he's going to be great because people talk about his height, but I don't think that's going to be too big of a deal in the slot. And I think Baker and Bradbury on the outside will be perfect to have Holmes right there in the slot. I would say McKinney, but just something about that Holmes pick. He's getting a lot of praise from some big players. So
And
Yeah, that's
I
what I-
want to get back to that, by the way, in terms of the praise and what he's been doing off the field. But PJ, who is the player you're most excited for?
I'm gonna go with Darnay Holmes too, because
Really?
he has like a really good work ethic, and I think he's gonna be like the steal of our draft, and he's getting praise from like legends from like Deion Sanders I heard,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think he's a good pick first. I think he's gonna
Yeah, what's also cool about Darnay Holmes as well is that he graduated in like 2.5 years or something really like crazy.
He graduated super fast.
It's really cool. Yeah, that's really cool, and I hope that translates into the film room and onto field as well.
I have to expect it would, right? Because, like, just forget that he was a college athlete. Just being a college student is hard enough. And then he did all that.
Yeah, I mean, he graduated UCLA, and
Exactly.
UCLA is not a school.
Exactly. And then there was also all the work that he would that he had to do off the field as well. Because Holmes, throughout his college career, has been doing work in the communities. So you add that on to his schoolwork, and then you add on football onto both of those things. It's absolutely crazy. Patrick Torres,
Yeah.
of course, if your connection is better, tune in a little bit later. We'll see. And yeah, you guys go ahead.
yeah. Holmes has a really good work ethic. I really like him.
What do you guys think about the Tom Hansen Award? Not sure if all of you know about the award, but for those of you that don't, it's awarded to a Pac-12 player, which Holmes was. That it shows basically great leadership on and off the field. Holmes was one of the recipients of it. I think another UCLA athlete got it, but that's where I really knew that we got a true giant in the sense of the word, that he's a giant in the community as well.
I
Yeah,
guess
I mean-
I'll start. Oh, you can go. You go. Go ahead, man.
I mean, you like to see it, especially with Eli. Eli had a big contribution off the field as well, so you like to see that being restored with Darnay Holmes. It's good to see somebody off the field also translate. Very good. I don't know what the word is like.
The man is just good all around, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. You just like to see it.
Exactly. John Doe out here says that he's most excited for Matt Pert. Kick Solder out the door for me, please. Now, I think Matt Pert is going to see the field towards the end of the year if Solder just continues to stink up the joint. I really think, realistically speaking, he's probably going to be a starter next year because I want Matt Pert to be our right tackle. I really want them to start Andrew Thomas at left tackle. I don't see the point in delaying what, in my opinion, is inevitable because if Solder's going to be off the team in 1 year anyway, I think they're going to shift Thomas over to the left. So actually, what do you guys think about that? We'll go, left to right just like last time. We'll go Big Blue, then Dylan, then Nerding Out, then PJ. Where do you think Thomas should start? Should he start at the left, or why do you think he would start at the right?
I think he should have to start at the left, dude. Is probably gonna be most comfortable, and Nate Solder left tackle last season, right?
Yeah, Nate Solder was at left, Mike Remmer's at right.
And he just doesn't seem okay there. So I would give the rookie a shot. Put in the left tackle, maybe move over Solder to the right side, maybe. I don't know, but I think we should definitely kind of put Thomas where he's most comfortable for sure.
Heard. Dylan.
No, yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, you can't stump the growth of Thomas by putting him on the right side. I mean, he did that in Georgia, but I mean,
The
as
whole
a
reason
freshman,
he
did-
started off at the right side, I think, was just because they wanted to see how he would do, and then I don't quote me on this, but I forgot who it was that was their left tackle, and then they got drafted by the Patriots, and that was when Thomas shifted over to the left side because he started at right when that dude was still in there. I'm forgetting his name. but he's the current left tackle of the Patriots. His name is just slipping my mind.
I'm not
Is it Wilson?
Wilson is it? No, Wilson was the right tackle for Georgia that got drafted this year. I don't know, but the left tackle of the Patriots who was drafted in 2017, I think that was when Thomas shifted over to the left.
I think is that Isaiah Wynn?
Yeah, Isaiah Wynn. That's the name. That dude. Whoever said that. Who said that? I didn't see whose green box lit up.
Nerding out.
Nerding out. I bet. But well, it is your turn anyway on the where you think he should start.
Left side. You can't. I forgot who said it just before me, but you can't stunt his growth. So yeah, put him right there at the left side, much like you said earlier with Daniel Jones. Throw him right out there. You see what he's got. You invested a lot high picking him. Might as well put him right there at left tackle.
And that's another thing too, right? You're putting such a high pick on him. You gotta expect him to produce at a high level. That is what people said about Daniel Jones. You know, the critics. It's what people said about Saquon. So no matter what, he has to. That's another reason I think he should go to the left side, because exactly what you said, man. You drafted him at 4th overall. Let him be used the way he should be used. So PJ, what do you think, man?
I think we should start him at the left tackle spot, and I don't think Soldier's gonna wanna like let a rookie just take his spot, but I think in like during training camp, Thomas like he's obviously gonna smoke Nate Solder, so he should definitely like start at the left tackle because I want him to like get that chemistry going with Will Hernandez.
No, that's another good point right there. You don't want to delay. You know, them. They're gonna be working together for years. At least I hope so. So might as well get it started now.
Yeah, and isn't the left tackle spot that's Daniel Jones's blind side, right?
It is indeed.
Yeah.
So John Doe out here saying, I'll say this, I don't think Thomas cares at all in terms of which side he starts at. I watched his tape. He has to be ambidextrous because he was perfect on both sides, in my opinion. So we can move off the draft now if you guys want to and talk about, you know, general season predictions. So where do you guys see the Giants finishing? First of all, where do you want them to finish? And where do you think they're going to finish? And same order, we'll start off with Big Blue Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, so I was actually just having this conversation earlier today with my brother. We're kind of going through our schedule, predicting our games, and I had us finishing 9-7, sneaking in with the final playoff spot.
9-7.
9-7. Yeah, I think I asked you the other day in your stream. I think you asked like if you had us going to the playoffs. You said like not quite, which I totally understand.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I gotta hope a little bit. You know, maybe we
can't blame you. Can't blame
get that
you.
last playoff spot. I think we beat Pittsburgh though to open up Monday night. Playing at home.
Would that be your upset of the year, or are we upsetting another team during the year?
So yeah, our like 3 major games, we got the Bucks, the Seahawks, and the Ravens. So it was like our 3 tough games. I think we beat the Bucks, dude. We got Tom Brady's number. I think we beat him.
I agree with you there. I really think we got a good chance against the Bucks. Not just because we got Brady's number, but we got the Bucks number. The past 4 times we played them, they only won once, and it was because of people talk about the Jake Elliott field goal, but right after that, the next week, it was basically another Jake Elliott field goal. I forgot who kicked it for the Bucks. They won by a long field goal also. So I think we got their number as well. So, nerding out. Hear me nerding out. Dylan, where do you think we're finishing? Where do you want us to finish? And any upset games on your list?
You know, in the past, I've always been saying the goal has been like 7-8 games, and that's what I really hope happens. I can't see it. I say Giants go 4-12 to 5-11.
Hold up again.
Whoa.
I have to. I've been saying that. I have been saying the Giants have at least 7 or 8, 9 wins for the last couple seasons. It's just eating my soul away.
Are you just taking the approach like low expectations so that you don't get disappointed?
Yes and no. I mean, I hope that happens, but I have to take the optimistic approach and just go 5-12, 5-11, and 4-12. I'm sorry.
Bro, oh my
I
God.
mean,
This
we
it
had
kind of
we had a hard schedule too.
it kind of makes sense now why you were like DJ is gonna have like what 16 fumbles. I'll tell you what, if he has 16 fumbles this year, that's a realistic prediction right there.
Yeah.
So nerding out,
I hate
bro.
to be the
I
I
mean,
hate to be the downer.
he hates to be the downer, but I'll. Damn, if that happens, if that legitimately happens, Gelman is gone for sure. So the whole thing about keeping,
And that's exactly what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't want him to be fired because
Mhm.
I want this to play out. Next year we're gonna have decently okay salary cap. Once we get that defensive end and once we get that, I mean, I'm not really too high in the wide receiver position, but I mean, if we get the wide receiver that Daniel Jones has been needing, and we get the defensive end that we've always needed, I feel like we can really compete. And those are the two biggest factors for me.
That's what you brought up. You brought up a good point there. The reason I have us going in that 6 and 10 to the 7 and 9 range is because I think our offense is set. I'm kind of with you on the wide receiver thing. I think we don't necessarily need Jamar Chase. Like I think it was you that brought it up earlier. We don't necessarily need that number one receiver out of college. I think the offense is really good. We're gonna be a top 15 offense, and I think with the potential to be top 10. The defense is where it's at. The defense needs fixing. So I think if we fix the defense, we're gonna be contending. So that's why I'm like we're a year away. So I agree with you on that part. Nerding out sports. What do you think, man? And what's up to Blue Collar and NYG31 in the chat?
I got us going 6 and 10.
All right, bet.
I think even if we're competitive in those 10 losses, like maybe like one score or something like that, even if it's like a 10-point loss, if we're in those games, it's showing improvement and progress for the young guys. I would love to see a playoff berth. I think if that's going to happen, earliest will be next year when they add on to this roster.
I agree with you there. PJ, it is on to you.
I think we're gonna get I don't know what exactly, but I want like 6 to 9 wins. I
6
think
to
in
9.
that range, I think we can do it.
Really? So 9. I
But
think if we get 9 wins, we're gonna sneak into the playoffs, like Big Blue Wrecking Crew said, because there's 7 seeds now. If we get 6, that's a good-ish range. But yeah, I could see that.
yeah,
But nerding out, we hear me nerding. I keep saying nerding out. Dylan, we need to get back to you, bro. We need to convince Dylan that we're gonna be better than 4 and 12 guys. You gotta help me out here.
I'm sorry, guys. I can't see it. I'm sorry.
Why do you think we're going 4-12? Because of our schedule?
Yeah,
Our schedule
We
was too
we
rough?
we do
mean,
have
who
a
do we
brutal
have as-
schedule.
Yeah, who do
It
you
is
have at the
tough.
beginning?
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
It's
let's see. We have the Bengals. That I'm gonna say we win against the Bengals. I'm gonna say we pull one out against the Cardinals. I would say we pull one out against the Cardinals.
All right, so
But-
that's 2, and then 2 more because we beat the Redskins twice.
See, I don't think we're gonna beat the Redskins twice. I think Chase Young is absolutely gonna tear one game and just take like 3 sacks on Daniel Jones.
Stop.
I
Are,
think-
you,
I'm-
are you a Cowboys fan?
No, I'm a Giants fan. I love the Giants.
No, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
I think Andrew Thomas can get up with Chase Young though.
Okay, listen. I'll tell you this. I do agree with you. I think for sure Chase Young is gonna tear us up one game, but like it's kind of like how you said you've been saying 7, 8 wins for the past 3 years, and the Giants keep getting below that. For me, with the Redskins, we've beaten them no matter what. The last time they won against us was in 2016, I think. It just seems no matter how bad we are, we're always better than the Redskins. But maybe that's just me, and maybe I have my bias glasses on.
I don't know. If they have Nate Solder on the right side, they might move Chase Young over there, and they might not have an answer for it. But I have us splitting with Washington as much as I want to sweep them again. I think we're gonna
So we
split
got
too.
2. We got 2. Okay then. So let's
What about-
continue.
What about the
I-
Browns game? What about the Browns game?
We
It's
lose.
like week 15.
We're losing.
I think we beat them.
No, we lose against the Browns.
I think we beat the Browns because they don't really have a good run defense.
They did lose. They did lose their middle linebacker. I'm forgetting his name. Joe something or
Gilbert.
Joe Sherbert. They did lose their middle linebacker. When you look at their defensive line, yeah, they got Myles Garrett. Who did they replace Vernon with? I can't remember. But the middle is kind of vulnerable. So does have a point there on the run defense. Maybe Saquon runs us to a win. Maybe he doesn't. What do you guys think?
No, I don't see it.
I just think they want to get back at Odell because he's been running his mouth so much since he got traded.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like they're gonna put so much emphasis on winning that game. I don't know, especially being at home. That's the only reason if it was in Cleveland, I think we would probably lose. But
I think
Also,
we
I
get an
think-
Odell's head that game, honestly.
yeah, I think Bradbury might do a good job getting into his head there.
Oh, blue collar.
Yeah, I would say Odell gets about. I would honestly say Odell gets 65 yards that game, in my opinion.
Odell
And I would
just.
say he get. I
Does
think he gets
Odell
one- I think
does
he gets
Odell
one
even
touchdown.
stay healthy, guys? That's the question. Does he even stay healthy next season?
I think he does.
Yeah, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he does.
Well, because it's been a while
Yeah,
since he
he's
played the full 16
trained his
games.
off-season body a lot.
Okay then. All right, bet. So Blue Collar says it's all about coaching, no real preference on Judge, but his pedigree tells me 9-7. Blue Collar, I gotta see Joe Judge's pedigree on the field before I say something like that. That's just me though. NYG31 says I will say 7-9 or 8-8, or if we're struggling early on, it's gonna be 6-10. Going back to the tough schedule, the first 6 weeks are absolutely brutal for the offensive line. We are sweeping Washington no matter if they have Chase Young, so NYG31 is on me with that. What's up, Edward Chan? Nikki says, any players I might consider trading this season? We can get to that after because I want to continue with this whole prediction thing. So if we got a win against the Bengals, Dylan, a win against the Cardinals, we sneak out one. We split with Washington. Where's our only other win coming from if we're going 4-12?
All right, well, let me see the schedule. I need to see this thing real quick.
All right, so we got Rams, Steelers, Browns, who you said we're losing against, Bucks, Seahawks, Ravens, of course
Did we
the
get
Cowboys
swept
and
by
Eagles.
Philly? I think we beat Philly one time.
I think we split with Philly
Yeah.
this season
No,
at home.
no, I disagree. I mean, let's think about it. We haven't won in Philly since 2013.
We're gonna win at home. We're gonna win at home. I think
You
you.
think we're
Yeah,
gonna
and
I think you've seen, because Dylan, you watch like most of my videos. I think you've seen like my Saquon MVP video. I'm like, I think we split with Philadelphia because Saquon has had us in each of those games, whether it's at Lincoln Financial Field or home at MetLife. He's had us in each of those games up until the second half, until when Pat Shurmur and his inability to coach comes out and he's like, let me just forget about the run game and not run Saquon anymore. And then the Eagles run away with the lead and they win the game. But for the most part, in the 4 games the past 2 years, he did kind of dominate the Eagles. Now, I can completely get what you're saying, where you're like, all right, different scheme, different coaching staff, and it's just a completely different year. The NFL is a parody. It's every given Sunday something different happens. Maybe that doesn't happen. But I really think we could split with them and get a win at home if Saquon just runs like he ran for the first half for both halves.
Right. Okay. I understand what you're saying, but again, the defense for the Eagles has improved if they stay healthy. That's the difference, is that they don't have depth at all. So I mean, if we see a lot of injuries on that defensive side for the Eagles, we might have a chance. You guys are right about that.
Mm-hmm. And, well, I'll tell you what. And by the way, Wolves, you said give you 15. I'll end the stream at 9, so you better tune in before that. And Brandon Brooks did tear his ACL, so maybe that's a little bit of a given for the Giants defense. I'll tell you what. You're talking about the defense for Philly. They lost a lot of, no, not a lot, but they lost key starters and key veterans this offseason. Philadelphia's depth is absolutely shot now. So there's something to maybe, I don't know, think about a little bit.
Yeah. I feel like the main loss for them was definitely Malcolm Jenkins.
Yeah.
I would say you have to replace. I think they're putting Mills back there.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're putting Mills back there or something, but because I think they got Roby Coleman, they're putting him at slot corner, and then they're putting what's his name, Slay on the outside. So I mean, we gotta see how Mills does back there. But
Their linebacking score is, in my opinion, is still very trash. I don't know why Philadelphia continuously just ignores the linebacking core every offseason.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, they've done that for years too.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the Giants in a way. I mean, well, the Giants have tried drafting people at least, but Philadelphia just straight up ignores it.
Yeah.
I have a hot take I want to say.
Go ahead.
I think our run. I think we're gonna have like a top 5 run game
Offensively?
in the NFL.
I
I
can.
think Deion Lewis was a nice addition.
Yeah.
Saquon.
I can listen. I can see. I don't know about top five, but I definitely think top 10. Because as much as I really do think this offense is gonna be one of the best in the NFL, I don't know if they're gonna actually run Saquon into the ground. Right? Maybe they leave running him into the ground for a later year when we're actually competitors. So would you say we're giving a lot, or we're gonna give a good amount over to Dion Lewis, who's more of a shifty back than Saquon is? Dion doesn't have the size of Saquon, so because Saquon can truck when he wants to and run downhill when he wants to, but Lewis is almost completely a receiving slash agility type back.
Yeah, cause I say that hot take because with Jason Garrett, I watched the entertainers video on our fullback usage. I think we're gonna be using Eli Penny a lot more, and that's gonna really help out Saquon.
Mhm. What do you guys think?
I could see it. If they use Penny a lot, I think we're going to see a lot more of Wayne Gallman. He's got a little fumbling issue, but if he can correct that, it never hurts to have, at least a good number two, even if Dion Lewis is more of a receiving back behind Saquon.
Mhm.
So you really do need that second guy.
All right. Nerding out. What about you? And Big Blue Wrecking Crew.
If Saquon plays all 16 games and he's getting, 20 to 25 touches a game, I think he should have no problem rushing for, 1,300 yards. And then
For sure.
maybe Lewis gets like, I don't know, like 7 to 10 touches a game. Maybe he could bring in another like 20, 30 rushing yards game. I don't know. I honestly don't think it's that much of a hot take. I would not be surprised if we finish top 5, but
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see.
what did I predict for my stats prediction vid? I had Saquon at third. I was about to say 1,300. I had him at 300 attempts because just looking at recent years with the Cowboys and even like to 10 years ago where they don't necessarily give 300 carries to one specific back but spread it out across the running back room. But more recently with Ezekiel Elliott, Zeke has always gotten at least 300 carries a year. Saquon has never gotten close to that. So I think if he gets like 300 carries, he's getting around 14 or 1,500 rushing yards. That's if he's like at his absolute best. I think that would get us for sure in the top 5 of terms of rushing offense. And that honestly, if we get 1,500 rushing yards out of Saquon and just Saquon, not talking about like Dion Lewis and the running back room, maybe we do go in terms of like 7 and 9, 8 and 8 because we're 1,500 rushing yards. You're definitely gonna get into the end zone a lot. Opens up the pass. Maybe I'm thinking a little too optimistic here. But what do you guys think?
I agree with that. If he can get to what how much yards did you say?
I said 1,500.
15. Yeah, we could definitely go 7 and 9 or 8 and 8. Yeah.
What about you doing?
No, yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, I don't know about all those wins, but we'll have to see.
Okay, respectable. Edward Chan saying Carson Wentz will get injured. Saquon is going to run over the Eagles defense, and we also have Javon Leake. The thing is, I think Javon Leake was kind of brought in specifically to be on special teams. I could be wrong. Dude proves me wrong. Maybe he's the next Victor Cruz, but this time for running backs, who knows? But let's get back because we keep getting sidetracked. From where was your 4th win coming from, man? Did you get to look at the Giants' schedule again, Dylan? Because we're trying to figure out, man, how are we only getting 4 wins here? We said Bengals, Eagles, and split with the Redskins. Where's your 4th win coming from?
Bears.
And that's it. We're not beating anything else. We're getting swept by the Eagles,
Cardinals,
swept by the
Cardinals. We're
Cowboys.
beating the Cardinals, dude.
What happened?
No, we're not beating the Cowboys this year. Not this year. They have too
Okay.
talented of a roster.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I think the Cowboys are going to be one of the best teams in the league this year, just based off of the talent on the roster. And I would be so happy if they just pull a Cowboys and all that talent goes to waste again.
Yeah, typical Cowboys just fail. Yep.
Exactly.
Have a disappointing season, like 9 and 7 or something.
Oh my God! Imagine if Zeke sits out the season because he doesn't want to get anybody infected or something like that.
Yeah,
That-
Dak Prescott's gone after that.
Let's talk about Dak Prescott and the Cowboys for a second. What do you guys think about Dak signing the franchise tag? Well, what do you think about that? For me, I'm like, if I'm Dak and I really want this amount of money, but the Cowboys have denied me at every single turn, why in the world would I even think about staying with them? So let's go left to right, starting with Big Blue, then Dylan, then Nerding Out, then PJ. What do you guys think about that situation?
Yeah, if I'm Dak, I'd probably want out. By now, dude, I think he kind of proved that he deserved a long-term deal. I don't know what else he has to do. I guess maybe another playoff game or something. But he finished top 5 last year, right? In passing, something like that.
Yeah, he was, in terms of passing statistics and numbers, he basically had 5,000 yards, was really close to it. 30 touchdowns, the works. Basically a really good, his best passing season by far.
I mean, I know a lot of that was probably, garbage time, but still pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
No, we'll see what he does this season. I don't really have a problem with Dak. He's pretty good, but I don't think he's like anybody to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
See?
So what about you, Dylan?
So yeah, I have a problem with Dak. He's a clown.
Dak is a clown.
He's a clown. All those 5,000, all those passing yards definitely were from the Giants and the Redskins. It was overrated. He hides behind one of the best offensive lines in football and has all the time in the world, throws it deep to Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, one of his top wide receivers.
And don't forget their third one. Is it Austin?
No, it's Gallup.
Gallup, yeah.
The guy's overrated. He's a clown. And honestly, if Andy Dalton had a chance like Dak, he'd probably be one of the top quarterbacks in the league.
I'm telling you right now, if Andy Dalton gets in there instead of Dak, they're still going to the playoffs. I think that's how good their roster is. I agree with you. And by the way, Edward, I know Dak isn't worth the money. I'm saying if I am him and I believe that I am worth that money, why would I go back to the Cowboys? Dak is not a $40 million quarterback, but he's definitely worth more than what he was getting paid. What was he getting paid? Like $4 million a year? So, he has to find somewhere in between there. I would have taken the $30 million that the Cowboys offered him like last year's offseason, but he wanted more, and now there's this whole coronavirus situation. He's probably not going to get any of it because he got franchise tagged. But, yeah, if Andy Dalton gets in there, I'm more scared of the Cowboys with Andy Dalton than I am of Dak with the Cowboys, because at least Dalton has won some playoff games. So next up was Nerding Out.
If I'm Dak, I mean, there could be a team out there that throws big money at him if Dallas is not. You saw Jacksonville did last offseason for Nick Foles, so you definitely could say
at least Nick
Foles
won a Super Bowl. I think that definitely plays into it.
Yeah.
What's up, Board and Arrow? What's up with the question marks, man? Just typed in 4 question marks.
I guess in terms of if they're going to throw out big money towards a quarterback, I don't know if Dallas will do it if they haven't yet. He's not worth $40 million, but I do think eventually they're going to work something out because I think the Cowboys realize that he is good. He's not the best quarterback. I don't know. It's a tough situation.
Okay.
I think I agree with Dylan because I think Dak's a clown. He's ungrateful. I don't think he's worth 31 mil.
Bro, y'all really out here roasting this dude Dak, bro.
Yeah, I don't really like Dak. I mean, he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's the best quarterback in the NFC East. I think Wentz is better than Dak, but Wentz doesn't play a lot. He gets injured, but yeah, he's not worth 31 mil.
No,
he's worth more than 4 mil though.
I think that he is worth right around that $30 million mark. And Borden Arrow actually corrected me. He said Dalton is 0-4 in playoffs while Dak is 1-2. So that I am actually surprised by. But my opinion remains generally the same. I think Dalton would be a better quarterback for the Cowboys. I think he'll, or at least have the same amount of success that Dak would have. I think that remains the same. But
but here's the difference.
What happened?
Here's the difference. Andy Dalton had a bad team around him. Andy Dalton carried the Bengals, but because...
All right, wait. Let's not get carried away here. The Bengals, for a couple of those playoff runs, were actually a pretty good team, at least on the offensive side of things. They were actually a pretty good team for a couple of those playoff runs. I would definitely say for 2015, I would definitely agree with you on that 2015 roster. Things were definitely falling apart. But continue.
No, yeah, I think Andy Dalton has big talent. I think the Cowboys got a steal with signing him for only $3 million, and I feel like if you put him behind that offensive line that's ranked amazingly every year, they have a good shot this year. And I'm sorry, I think Andy Dalton's better than Dak. I don't care what anyone says. I think he's better.
I'll tell you what, all Dalton needs is a chance to get in there, and I do think he's gonna do something really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
But this
I
might
think-
be a hot take for not only the chat but for you guys as well. I do think Dak is the best quarterback in the NFC East simply because it's between him and Wentz as of right now. I think literally give Jones 2 years and then it's gonna be Daniel Jones. But it's between him and Wentz, and I have to put Dak over Wentz because Wentz always gets injured. And I say this all the time. Wentz would be better if he can just stay healthy because he is better at the
Yeah.
end of the day. But it's the same thing with Evan Ingram. I have the same point of view with Evan Ingram. If you can't stay healthy, then you're not a good player. That's my personal opinion on it, and I would have to put Dak over him just because of the availability.
I would have to agree. But if you look at the talent, it's definitely Carson Wentz in my opinion.
Yeah. By
I think
far,
Wentz
by far.
is more talented.
By far, Wentz is
Yeah.
more talented, for sure. Right now, Edward Chen is out here ranking. He says Wentz number 1, then Jones, then Dak, then Haskins. Sport and Arrow says Wentz, then Dak for now, then Jones, then Dalton, then McCoy, then Hurts, then Tanny, then Kyle Allen, then Haskins. I don't know if Jalen Hurts is better than Dwayne Haskins, man. I don't know. Jalen Hurts looked
No,
worse.
Haskins is better.
Yeah,
I think we're
Jalen.
better than Dwayne Haskins. The kid's a bum.
Nah, we're better than Jalen Hurts. Listen, man, I think people do forget that Jalen Hurts, he played at Ohio State this last year, right? And he looked worse than
Yep.
Haskins looked there. So that's actually
No,
a
he
pretty
played
good
at-
measurement test.
Oklahoma, I think.
Wasn't he Oklahoma?
Didn't he transfer?
Yeah, he transferred to Oklahoma from Alabama.
I bet. And he says, I'm playing, but it was a funny joke, my guy. Is Tanny even still in the league? Tanny is still with the Giants right now, is he?
Yeah, he is.
I don't. Speaking of which, with that quarterback room, because it's Tanny, McCoy, obviously Jones, and Cooper Rush.
Super Rush.
You think we're
Rush,
going
right.
in? Do you think we're going in with 2 quarterbacks, 3 quarterbacks? So give me a number and then who we're going in with into the season.
I think 3. Think about Jones, Rush, and McCoy.
So Tanny doesn't
I
make the
think-
cut.
Yeah,
I
because
think
Rush has
two.
been with Jason Garrett, so
I think 2. I think just McCoy and Jones.
Just McCoy and Jones. Well, I think McCoy and
Yeah.
Jones are definitely making it, and I keep saying it, but I really appreciate what Cole McCoy did for Daniel Jones when in terms of helping him organize the workouts down in Austin, using his pull at
Yeah.
University of Texas. Like he didn't need to do that because he's just a backup.
You made a video on that, right?
I think I did make a video on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, I loved it.
Thank you, man. Edward Chan, we literally spent like probably the first half an hour talking about Andrew Thomas. Everybody in here loved the pick. It was not what we were expecting, but we loved the pick. So, I'm probably going to end the stream a little, soon, unless I did see Wolf saying that he wants to join. But any other questions you guys want to ask me that we could chalk
I got a
up
question.
about?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll go after.
All right. I actually was thinking about this. Who would you keep going into next season, Leonard Williams or Dalvin Tomlinson?
Jesus Christ. All right, you got to give me what contracts they would go for. Are we saying they're going to have the same contract, just one of them is going to get it?
Well, that's the thing. That's why I'm like kind of wrestling with the decision that I would make because I think Tomlinson would definitely be cheaper because he really just plays one position, but he plays it so well. But Williams can line up on the outside, and I think a full year he'll be better at even at pass rushing. That's why I'm kind of like.
You
torn up.
literally just said what I was about to say. I'm like, I want to keep Tomlinson, but he's one of the best nose tackles he's very underrated at the nose tackle position. He's one of the best run stuffers in the league, and he's homegrown. And Dalvin Tomlinson as a person is just a cool dude. I don't know if you guys seen the official Giants channel had an interview with him. Like he's a really cool dude. He's into playing video games. He loves Dragon Ball Z. He's like a sneakerhead. He's a music head.
Yeah.
Like Dalvin Tomlinson is just a really relatable dude off the field as well as being super underrated on the field. But then when it comes down to it, I might choose Leonard Williams. Obviously, it would depend on the contracts. But if we're talking without contract, I might go Leonard Williams because he's more versatile. He could line up as a pass rusher as well as a run stuffer. And I don't know how I feel about that because I want to keep Thomas in also. So I'm kind of in the same boat as you. What about the other guys?
Yeah, I personally like Leonard Williams a little bit better.
Dylan?
Yeah, I
I like
like Williams
Thomason.
better.
All right. Okay. And who else had the question for me?
Yeah, Big Blue Wrecking Crew. If Evan Ingram plays all 16 games, you guys think he's top 5 tight end?
For sure.
Yep.
I'm gonna say
For
yeah.
sure.
I'm gonna say
All
top 10
16
for sure.
No.
I'm gonna say
He's so
top 10.
fast, dude. So fast.
I don't know about top 5. I will
think-
say top 10 for sure though.
Top 10, all right, that's fair.
I tell you though, if he has a good season, we're gonna have to pay him big.
I'll tell you what. If he has a good
I
season,
think
I'm still trading him because his trade value is gonna go back up, and I don't know. I just want him
Yeah.
off. He could have a good season. I'm still gonna be like, all right, you're gonna get injured next year, because him having a good season is good for
Yep.
us either way. Either he's gonna perform and stay at that level, or his value is gonna go back up, and we could actually get rid of him easily.
Trade him for
I
Yannick.
think
Trade him
if
for
he plays
Yannick.
all 16 games, I think he's definitely gonna be a top 10 tight end.
Yeah,
But if he gets injured again, we're definitely gonna trade him.
for sure. No, well, actually, if he gets injured again, who's gonna trade for an injured player, right? I think we're gonna get rid of him somehow.
Exactly.
But I don't know about trading him
Yeah.
if he
No
gets
value.
injured. Yeah. So, any other questions before we close it out, guys?
Most underrated player on the Giants.
Right now? Yeah, it would be, for me, it would be Dalvin Thompson. I don't think he gets enough love. What about you guys?
I think
Uh,
I think it's gonna be Deion Lewis.
Okay. Plays into how you were saying we're probably going to have a strong rushing offense. He's probably going to see a lot of the ball.
Yeah,
Big Blue Wrecking Crew?
yeah.
I don't know if this is so much underrated, but Sterling Shepard, man, when he's in there and he's healthy, dude, like he can perform like high receiver 1 numbers. So I think Shep has a pretty big year for us.
That's a pretty nice
And
pick.
I
though.
have a question.
Yeah,
Um,
real quick, let
what-
Nerding Out get his answer out though. I don't think
Oh,
Nerding
sorry.
Out got to get his answer out.
I'm gonna say Julian Love. I liked
Okay.
what he did last year. It was small fraction of playing time, but I thought I was impressed.
Okay.
I was gonna
and-
say that too.
all right.
Good.
And the chat says James Bradbury and Borden Arrow. Your question will be the one I close it out with. So PJ, shoot me your question.
What do you guys think will happen if we come on opening night? If we blow out the Steelers week 1 by
Blow out?
20 points or more?
If we blow out the Steelers by 20 points, that means our team is a lot better than I expected. And I'm expecting big things for the season.
Okay.
What
Yeah,
about
then
you
everyone's
guys?
gonna love Joe Judge in the next week.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
by 20
I mean,
points is a big margin, my guy.
Yeah.
What about you, Big Blue and Nerding Out?
Yeah, dude, if we go out Monday Night Football, blow out the Steelers, yeah, expectations definitely increase for sure. Like you said, I think team's a lot better than we thought. So hopefully that happens. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
only thing is that we never really play good on like primetime games, like Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night. We never really play like up to standard.
And
And-
also,
I hope that doesn't happen.
kind of superstitious. We never play good when we play in our the Color Rush uniforms. I don't know if we've ever won while playing in those
Yeah,
uniforms.
I was there. I was at the game.
Which one?
A Patriot game last year?
Giants versus Steelers, or not
Okay.
Giants versus Steelers. Giants versus Eagles.
Eagles,
Thursday
right?
night, the Color Rush.
Jesus Christ, always get blown out by the
Oh, man,
Eagles
it was
when we
worse
play in
than
Color
the
Rush. Yeah. Nerding Out, did you get to speak on that? If we blow them out by 20 points?
If we do that, yeah, expectations are gonna be through the roof because the Steelers have like an incredible defense. So if we blow them out by 20, that means we're doing something right.
Mm-hmm. It also means
And-
our defense is holding it down also.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think if that happens, the media is still gonna find a way to like not credit the Giants. I think they're gonna be like the Steelers played bad, especially like Stephen A. Smith, because he never wants to. He's always hating on the Giants.
Stephen A. Smith is a Steelers fan also, in terms of football.
Oh
Oh yeah.
yeah, he is.
So
I hope
there's that.
Max shove it in his face.
My God, I can't remember the last time I like watched first. I used to watch First Take religiously a couple years ago, and then when Undisputed first came on, I used to watch it like every day. Just like with every sports show, I just kind of fell out with it because I just couldn't take what they were saying.
Right.
And
Cannot stand Molly, dude, on that show. Like,
Oh
I
my
can't
god,
watch it.
I hate him.
Can't, dude.
well, yo, I think me and Kid Blue got into it on the last Young Guns episode. We were talking about how, as a moderator, she's probably the worst moderator in all of sports.
Oh my.
Absolutely.
She is.
Um, but yeah, before we get into that, no preseason games might hurt Big Ben. That's a good point by Borden Arrow. Big Ben is getting older. I fully expect him to get injured sometime during this season. That's just me. And the last question for tonight, we're going to close it out with, by Borden Arrow also. He says, thoughts on Beal versus Ballantyne at the cornerback position? That's a good question. I think both of those guys are probably going to get cut this year. They're definitely two candidates for not making it past like week 8 or something. I don't know who it would be because Beal has been injury prone and Ballantyne, well, he was just a rookie last year, so we're not sure really what we have in him, and he played very limited snaps. I would probably lean Ballantyne just because at least he's not as injury prone as Beal is. What about you guys? You know, going from Big Blue to Dylan to Nerding Out to PJ.
Yeah, definitely Valentine. I was actually kind of comparing the two as far as their 40 time. Dude, they both ran the same 40,
Really?
4.47. So yeah, definitely the one who doesn't go out there and get injured as much.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, I'd probably put. I'm probably gonna put Beal over Ballantyne. I mean, hopefully these guys battle it out in the preseason. I mean, there's no Hall of Fame game this year, but I hope that we get to see the battle in preseason, and then best man wins. But we'll see.
All right. Nerding Out.
Yeah, I agree with Dylan. That's a tough one because I like Ballantyne, but Beal when he's out there, he's okay. But that's the thing, he's barely playing.
Mm-hmm.
So at least with Ballantyne, he can be a special team guy as well. I think he returned punts early in the season last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, there is definitely something to say that when Beal is out there, he's okay. Because when Beal was out there last year, you didn't really notice the difference between his performance and Baker's. So that's something to take into account also. And PJ?
Right.
I don't really know. I think it's up for grabs. Whoever plays better preseason games and in training camp.
All right. Definitely all good points here. And I think I'm going to close it out. Edward Chan coming in with the hot last question. How do we feel about Des Bryant? Should we sign him? Listen, if we're going to sign any old wide receiver that had former number 1 experience, you guys already know who I want. I want Demaryius Thomas. He'll come in, and I think he's going to be a good number 3 or 4 option. And at least he's played more recently than Des Bryant. So that's kind of my opinion on that. What about you guys?
Yeah, I don't want Dez, man. It's been so long since he's played.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can't bring in a guy that has had off-season issues, especially in the media capital of the world. You just can't do it. If we're gonna do that, might as well sign up the best talent guy in Antonio Brown. But you guys, we wouldn't like that either. So
I completely forgot that Antonio Brown is technically still a free agent.
yeah,
That's crazy.
it's crazy. I mean, his talent is insane. His talent is.
Listen,
through the roof.
Antonio
But you
Brown
just can't
was
have
like
those-
Antonio Brown was the best receiver of this decade for the first half of the decade. It
You
was
just
like
can't have those antics. It's
for sure.
ridiculous.
He's
Yeah.
he's literally crazy. I think the dude literally needs professional help.
Yeah.
Nerding out.
Yeah, I don't want any part of Des Bryant. I would agree with you. Demaryius Thomas would make the most sense because he's played recently.
And PJ.
Yeah, I wouldn't want Dez either. I think he's washed. He hasn't played. And yeah, Demaryius Thomas would be smart. And there's no way we're Gettleman signing AB.
Oh, yeah. There's no way any team in the NFL is going to sign AB. And I guess another one to throw in here for Demaryius Thomas is that Tyke Tolbert, actually, he was the dude that coached Demaryius during his prime years. So I'm sure they're going to have a nice connection. And Tyke is our current wide receivers coach. So that's another, I guess, reason why I would go for Demaryius if we were to pick up a older wide receiver. But something to think about also.
Yeah.
So thank you all you here in the chat. Edward, Borden Arrow, AV Sports, Nikki earlier. Wolves, unfortunately, apparently did not get to tune in. John Doe, NYG31, Patrick Torres, and of course the guys that I had a great time with tonight. It was definitely fun. It had its ups and downs, but I think I figured it out towards the end. Big Blue Wrecking Crew, Dylan Renner, Nerding Out Sports, and PJ. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Any last thoughts before I end the stream here?
Go
I got it.
Giants.
Oh.
Do we
Yeah.
sign Colin Kaepernick though?
No.
No.
A hard pass for me.
Yeah,
Hard pass for me.
agree.
But
No,
once-
yeah, thank you, Hub, for having us on though. Appreciate it, man.
no
Yeah,
problem,
absolutely.
man.
Thank you, man.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
thanks for having me on.
for sure. I'm gonna try and do it again in the future. Gonna have to actually. I'll probably try and figure out another way to have it a bit more organized. But I definitely want to do it again in the future. So thank you guys for coming on. And
All right.
No, yeah,
that's
thanks for having us, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk to you later, guys.
no problem.